Walkinshaw is looking for backers, but as ever, this Gloucester side have the passionate backing of an amazing King's home crowd. 11,000 capacity here this afternoon. Jerry Guscott, what's it like to play here?
I'm used to play for Bath just down the road, so it was never a huge problem, and you used to come here as a cult and you used to get a bit of stick. And I don't think, a lot of sides can come here and be get worried about it, get worried about the shed, but I think a side like Munster playing at Tolman Park, I mean, they're used to this kind of ferocity. They got their side at the moment, as we know, is at the top of the Premiership, and they're playing extremely well. And they're led, by example, by Vickery. I mean, he could be England's captain next year at the World Cup. Their backs aren't the best in the world. I mean, Henry Paul is struggling right now. Todd and Fanaloa are just straight up and down bangers, but they're, you don't particularly want to run into them because they welcome you to King's Home.
So when you look at a lineup like that, Jonathan, it doesn't leap out of you that this is a side that should be top of the Zurich Premiership.
No, but they're solid. The pack is immense. They will miss Junior Paramore, and as Jerry said, they're solid behind, but they haven't got that creativity maybe and cutting edge, especially Mercier, Todd and Fanalua. But then outside they've got Garvey, this new winger that they found from somewhere, scoring some fantastic tries, and he is the pace. And if they can get Henry Paul, as Jerry said, he hasn't really, shone, or the expectations of him were great, and he hasn't fulfilled them yet. But if they click and he comes in, I think that they could do some damage. But as they are, they're solid, they go in well, and they've got the home advantage.
Well, Marcel Garvey is the exciting talent that really ignites this King's home crowd. I suppose if you score a hat-trick against Bristol, you're bound to be a favourite here, aren't you? But this was extraordinary, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, nobody had heard of him, then he scores the hat-trick. But this is the first of his three. Great pace, but you've got to be a bit brutal. It's poor tackling, but still, it's a long run. Then he cuts the line and goes through and goes under the post, and you're thinking, OK, well, you had a little chance there. Let's put you under a bit more pressure. And this one was kind of sort of made more for him by Paramore, who has been their player of the season, but great pickup. And when we saw that in slow-mo, actually, it's a bit doubtful whether he actually scored it, but we'll give it to him. But this is the try of his hat-trick, and this is where your eyes light up, and this is the reasons why he's going to put bums on seats. And this is an extraordinary try. Just left, right, chip over the top, and he's still got the gas after running 25 yards to take everybody on. That's superb. It's what we all want to see, and I hope he gets the opportunity this afternoon to demonstrate his talents.
Yeah, I think everyone is saying that his first try was the best one. I agree with Jerry. His third one was brilliant. He took men on the outside, stepped inside, feinted, and then chipped over. That was a classical wing try. Yes,
he's making all the right career decisions, and he's come through England at all levels so far, all the junior levels. Who does he remind you most of established in the game? Is there a bit of Martin of fire there, or what?
I don't think Martin, no. I think he's a bit stockier than Martin, and I don't think he's as quick as Martin. But yeah, I think he's been compared to Jason Robinson, and if you compare to Jason Robinson at any stage of your career, you know you're doing the right things. But he will get a lot of ball. The only problem, as we've mentioned, is the distribution he's going to get from midfield. Ludwig Mercier is a defensive standoff. He plays back in the pocket. He doesn't play onto the line. The two centres are bashers. So if there are opportunities there, they've got to try and get it out to him, and then support him on the inside. And that's the only worry I've got. They've got a great pack, pace on the wings, but the problem is getting the ball, to one another.
The beauty about Marcel, I think, is because he's so young. Yeah. He's raw. He'd be just shouting all the time, "Give me the ball! I want to show everybody what I can do." And I think all he needs to be is point in the right direction a little bit. And being a winger, he can roam. And if he's not getting the distribution he should be from those inside three, he can always come and take it off Gloucester.
But today, against Munster, Agara, they look at him and they've done their homework on him and think, right, OK, we can't give him loose ball where he can run back at us. Yeah. So he hasn't really been testing the defensive qualities, the high ball put him behind him. So it'll be interesting to see, depending on how much ball the Munster pack get off the Gloucester boys, to see how much pressure they put on Garvey.
OK, let's take a look at that Munster team. The name of Ronan O'Gara is one in particular that leaps out, as indeed does Mick Galway, setting a record, 46 consecutive Heineken Cup appearances. Great to see him in that lineup, but it's an illustration of the injury problems they've got as much as anything.
Yeah, I think so. They played Neath last week and absolutely smashed Neath at the Knoll. And I think Neath suffered in the second half yesterday against Leicester, the intensity of the game in England. And I think that is the problem that maybe Galway will get today, is that, the intensity of this match and the pace, he might... his legs might start to go, but an all-round side. The back row is extremely strong with Williams in great form. Henderson is back. He's playing extremely well, and Staunton as well. So it's a very, very experienced all-round side.
Well, let's take a particular look at those two. Jim Williams, who took over from Mick Galway as captain, and what kind of an introduction has he been, not only on the field, but in the way he handles everything that surrounds the Munster captaincy?
He's just a great player. That's the first thing. He is a fantastic world-class player, leads from the front, and he's, you know, does everything right. I don't know what it is about him. He knows when to pick up and drive, you know, he doesn't give any penalties away, does his defensive chores, and, you know, he just leads from the front. He's a fantastic all-round player and does all the work, you know, and I think when you get a lot of overseas players in this country, I think you just need one or two, and this is an example that the other sides need to do. Get a player of this quality so that the other players can learn off him.
They seem to be a bit further ahead down there, although we're closing the gap. But even when you get to his age, he's got a rugby brain on him, and he just knows the rules. He knows the shortest way, the easiest way, and the shortest way to get to that next breakdown.
Yeah, and you mentioned Rob Henderson, who over the last couple of seasons has perhaps spent a little bit too much time with us in the studio. Great to see him fit, and he's such an asset to any side, isn't he?
He is. I think Rob built up to the Lions season and a half ago, and he was in tremendous form. And you know, this is a lot of, you know, what got him there. He is powerful, but I just think he was looking for the outside a lot of the time, and he was confident because he shed a little bit of weight and he'd done all his training. And once you know you got that gas, you can take that outside break, take on players. Before he could just go on the inside and smash through, but now he had the pace. When he had the pace, he could go out the side and just break the flailing arm. But we don't see a lot of that Rob kicking. That's illegal in his mind, really.
I think he found it difficult going to Munster. He picked a lot of injuries up, enjoyed the Guinness too much. And you know, no, it wasn't Guinness that. And I think he struggled a little bit because, you know, he had a great season with the Lions and with Ireland, and then he came back down to earth, and now he's got the bit between his teeth again.
This could be the start for him.
Yeah.
This is a huge tournament, and you know, if he slimmed down a bit, which I think we're struggling to believe, but if he does that, then he can get back to that form and be a huge player with a big influence.
So overall, what are going to be the key elements this afternoon? You've got the great experience of Munster. That's going to be important for them, isn't it?
Yes, and I think up front, you know, if you come here, everyone knows it's the Gloucester pack that's going to take you to park, and they're awesome at the moment. If Munster can get 50% possession, you know, I think Munster might just sneak it because of the quality behind. But it's going to be very tough. Great home record, and they want to win the European Cup, Heineken Cup this year, Gloucester do, but then again, so do Munster.
Yeah, Jerry, I think you've already gone for Leinster overall in this competition.
I actually went for Leicester. I might be changing my mind.
I got Gloucester. Kiss of death.
I think Munster, you know, I don't want to mention that Gloucester won it. I don't think there's a side that wants it more than Munster, having been to 2 finals. They'd be desperate for it, but they couldn't have picked a harder match to start with. It's going to be close to impossible for them here today, although their away record is phenomenal, but I think they'll lose here this afternoon.
The one thing is, though, they've got Viadana in the group, and I think both these, as I said at the start of the programme, I think both these sides will go through, but home advantage in the quarter-finals is so important. So if Munster get anything out of this game today, they will be favourites to go through.
So those fans are fantastic. Most of them have been packing the ground for the best part of an hour and a half. But now is their time. The Heineken Cup starts for Gloucester and Munster right here at Kingsholm. And our commentary team for our opening match in the competition are Brian Moore and Eddie Buck.
Thank you very much, Steve. It is glorious out here on Kingsholm. Jim Williams, captain of Munster, not today in their familiar red, in blue. The cherry and whites have home advantage, shirt advantage, and Kingsholm awaits the leaders of the Zurich Premiership, home team Gloucester.
Well, Eddie, they were in here in the shed an hour early. It was absolutely packed. And when I walked past, they reminded me I didn't know what I was doing, but these boys will know what they're doing because there's a role for them, for victory. Big game. See if they can live with the big boys, new to the competition.
The shed, bigger in legend than it is in reality. It's only, well, it is a shed, but it certainly generates its very own atmosphere. In the heart of the city of Gloucester, Kingsholm one of the hotbeds of the game. Gloucester. Henry Paul at fullback, yet to find that magic spark, but will he counter-attack with Marcel Garvey and Tom Bime forming the other members of that back three? The pack, as always, is formidable, and Phil Vickery is back as captain. Munster, well, they have so much more experience. Mick Galway makes his 46th appearance. There is nobody in the Gloucester side who has hit double figures of Heineken Cup appearances. Munster have been in hostile environments before. They know all about this. They have a total game, but above all, it's going to be very confrontational up front and in the centre. Joël Dumais, who was the touch judge in last year's Heineken Cup final, he now takes charge in this highly atmospheric cauldron. Ludovic Mercier switches direction, throws it high. Well taken by Anthony Foley. Ronan O'Gara, last season's leading try scorer in the Heineken Cup, throws his first kick high towards Henry Paul.
Okay.
Jeremy Staunton, given licence by Munster's new coach Alan Gaffney to run, doesn't go for touch, finds only Henry Paul. Andy Gomersall. Mercier, Gloucester take it wide. Tom Bime in the line from the opposite wing. Jake Gore, number 6, piles in there to release the ball. And in the ruck, first penalty of the game to Gloucester. Gloucester with the wind behind them, Brian.
Yes, and it's a strong breeze that made a confident start. Henry Paul, a couple of balls put up by him, no problem. Munster only themselves to blame there, because Jules Dumais, as this ball goes down on the floor, you can hear him say no hands immediately, and there we are, hands over, there it is. Yeah. Important kick this. Gloucester need points this half. It is a very strong wind, notwithstanding the fact that they're playing up what is a considerable slope at Kingsholm. And well, he's one of the most consistent kickers in the league, isn't he? So about 30 metres.
Ludovic Mercier, left-footed. Difficult wind to judge your kicks in. Opportunity missed by Gloucester.
Yeah, it just didn't curl round at all, did it, from round the corner kicker? You would have thought that would have drifted in slightly, but it stayed exactly straight from where he hit it, and it was always just going to slide past that left-hand post. So let off for Munster.
Ronan O'Gara takes his time. Should just dink it high for his forwards. Mick Galway goes up with Mick O'Driscoll.
No hands!
Again, the instruction from the referee, no hands. Munster on the charge. Mossy Lawler on the far side.
Well, it's going to be an interesting battle up front. All sets in their scrums, the front row units, second rows and back rows, are all very competitive. But this is where Munster, with their experience, have to get into Gloucester. Because at home, if you get on the back foot here, you can find yourself in trouble.
Azam beautifully judged. Well taken by Adam Eustace. Terry Fanalua. Strength of the Samoan centre. Mercier, now then, Marcel Garvey, the electrifying 19-year-old. Gomersall, Mercier, long, Henry Paul. Forwards out there in the mix. James Forrester, highly promising back row forward. Gloucester with more forwards out there. Adam Eustace joins in the three-quarter movement. Now they come the other way. Long passes, giving it width, even longer from Henry Paul. Here goes Garvey. Well, we gave him the big salvage. Of course he was going to drop it.
Well, Marcel Garvey tried to set off without the ball there. He was so intent on getting forward. He just took his eyes off it for a second, but you can see early on, it did bounce up nicely for him, and he's trying to get away before it's in his possession, but you saw just prior to that, made a little dink inside. He's an exciting prospect. good to see people going forward, ball in hand, taking people on.
Brief stoppage. Large packs, average weight over 17 stone.
Gloucester have certainly started the better of the two teams, have had most of the possession, most of the territory, but this Munster side, very experienced, you know, they need to, they won't worry them too much as long as they don't concede points, and it will be interesting because Gloucester are new into the competition, and Munster will keep going for 80 minutes, and then we'll see the make of the side. Well, it did bounce up nicely for him, didn't it? And there was space there, and there was a man outside him, so...
Clive Woodward, the England manager. Andy Robinson, his assistant coach. Or rather, not his assistant, he is his coach. England, of course, with a huge schedule of autumn internationals. They take on the big three from the Southern Hemisphere, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. I gather they're having a good look at James Forrester, playing number 8 for Gloucester today. Peter Stringer of Ireland takes the responsibility on himself, feed the scrum and take the kick. Mick Galway takes it, didn't retire 10 metres, another penalty for Gloucester.
Well, that was obvious. I don't know what the Munster forwards were doing there. The rule is, if you're within that 10-metre circle, you can't just stand there, you've got to get out again. And they just stood there and looked in the air. Very simple. Well, he's not going for goal. He'll put it in the corner. Ball goes up here, look. It's a poor kick, and all those forwards have got to retire. They can't just stand there.
Well then, Joel Dumais has told Gloucester to reach the line out quickly, and they've lost it. Mick O'Driscoll got the tap. Mick Galway, the 36-year-old, cleared up the scraps. That's gone loose though. Tom Byme, a chance to counter-attack. It bounces for Robert Todd. Byme tries to get it. Munster on the foot charge. It's gone clear. Munster have a chance here. John Kelly drives upfield. Now there's a real chance for Munster. Mike Mullins cuts through the centre. Stringer waits. Neat inside flick. Now it's gone forward from Frankie Sheehan. Gloucester can counter-attack. Mercier. Todd to Byme.
No hands! No hands!
Gomersall. Henry Paul looks downfield. That's only found Staunton. Long passage of play. Staunton judges the wind. Thinks he might be able to get under it. Overcooked it. Back to Mercier. And with the wind behind him, Mercier sends Munster back into their own half.
Well, he can kick anyway, but with this wind, tremendous. He's made 40-50 yards, but just for a second there, when the ball was turned over, there was a huge space without Jeremy Staunton. I thought that Gloucester might have exploited that with a kick earlier.
Just, I think it's apparent that the pace is already higher than we've seen in the Zurich Premiership.
Wait!
Yeah, I think that's going to be right. I mean, this Heineken Cup has produced the best rugby consistently over the last, well, several years now. I wouldn't expect any difference this year.
Wait!
Joel Dumais trying to make it very clear what he wants at the line-out.
Okay.
Having a word with Trevor Woodman, he wants big gaps. He wants Gloucester there quickly, although this time it's Frankie Sheehan to throw.
Play.
Mick Galway unchallenged.
Play advantage. Play.
Famous Munster trick, the old drive. Gloucester like it too, and they don't go backwards like this much. Gloucester in close contact work. Anthony Foley has the ball. It's a ruck now, ball on the ground. O'Gara, Williams outside him. O'Gara knocks on, advantage. Mercier to Byme. Byme with space. Henry Paul outside him. Terry Fanalua. Garvey outside him. The strength of Garvey, the little dart inside, presents it.
Okay.
Forward, arriving and diving in. Penalty this time
Number 6 on the ground.
to Munster, and it's Jake Boer who's been penalised.
Well, it's a shame there for Gloucester because temporarily they had a 4-on-3, and I thought the distribution from Terry Fanalua was just too early. You see here, Paul straightens it up. Doesn't really. There, look, he's running sideways and he doesn't give him much of a chance.
Ça va?
He's either got to give that really early and support around the back, or he's got to straighten it and give him a bit more room, but he can't do half and half like he did then.
Munster have kicked for touch. Frankie Sheehan to throw again. Tricky wind conditions. Mick O'Driscoll is the tallest of their jumpers. They use Alan Quinlan at the back, and of course Mick Galway might just go for the shorter option. That was Galway, not straight though, and that might be a feature of the line out today.
It is going to be a feature. It started off straight, the wind just took it away. Difficult for the throwers, which means actually that the person who is calling the line out has a responsibility to make sure the throwers don't have a hard job like calling back balls all the time. So important to get possession rather than the place where it's got, I think, today.
James Forrester goes up the blind side, and a little handoff means he can get over the advantage line. Mercier looks long. Robert Todd, the direct route from the direct centre. Trevor Woodman has pace for a prop. Marcel Garvey has a lightning pace for a winger. Well tackled by Staunton. Still Gloucester though, and it's accidental obstruction. Contact going forward. It'll be a scrum for Munster.
Well, Joel Dume said that one Gloucester player collided with a player in front of him, which is accidental offside. Did well there to straighten the line. And tremendous pace here from and a good pass as well. Takes the right option to come back inside, I think there. Goes in front, yes, and there was obstruction.
D'accord, je viens.
Loud blast. Scrummage went down.
Tu regardes et tu me confirmes. Caution hold, engage.
Peter Stringer feeds Munster, solid scrummage. This time he looks for O'Gara. Difficult kick for O'Gara into the wind, but Gloucester not binding.
Number 1, red.
Well, number 1 red, that's unusual from a scrum.
2 times, number 1. Number 1, no binding.
Let's have a look at this again.
Yes.
Did well, did Mr. Dume, because he's on the other side of the scrum and he's got X-ray eyes. It could have been the assistant linesman, I suppose. Here we go. Well, who is first out here? I can't see much wrong with that, to be honest. But then again, I'm not the referee and I've got the whistle, so...
No. With receiver, red receiver.
We're going to be cautious this year,
red
are we, Brian?
receiver. Okay.
Only for a little while.
Frankie Sheehan again. They go for an adventurous throw, and it's well taken by O'Driscoll. Jim Williams. They're not over the advantage line yet. They've had to go backwards. Stringer. O'Gara on his own.
No hands.
Rob Henderson 12 just shields the ball then. Here goes Mossy Lawler on the left wing.
No hands.
They're still going left. Mick Galway back inside to Stringer. Good little strength
Play on.
Well, it was good strength, and he lost the ball to his opposite number, Andy Gomersall. Chance here. Mercier. Robert Todd has Bime outside him, then Bime cut inside him, and it's one of those passes that missed the winger completely.
Well, Robert Todd looked at Bime then as to say, what on earth are you doing? But he was obviously going to have to come back inside. It's a great shame. Gloucester had 3 or 4 of these where they just haven't managed to straighten. Todd's first 2 or 3 steps there were again towards the touchline. He just closes the options down. Bime then feels I haven't got anywhere else to go but come back inside. There's a misunderstanding, and that's the result.
Again, Munster risked the long throw. That's very well taken by O'Driscoll. He was very impressive last week against Neath, and he started this game with some athletic jumping in very difficult conditions. And again, it's that Munster drive. There's 5 forwards driving against 3 there. Jake Boer, he really can't play the ball there. Boer insisted on playing the ball. Advantage is being played for Munster, and it's against Jake Boer for just playing the ball from an offside position.
Well, he got him for the second one, but I thought that Gloucester took that maul down anyway. It was being driven. You're not allowed to collapse a maul. Joel Dume did announce in loud terms that it was a maul. Here, look, there, he's just pulled that down. That's a penalty anyway. And then he comes down the side as well. That's 2 penalties, but Munster obviously decided against this win. They're going to catch a lot of ball and drive it. And I think they're probably right, because they're not going to make much ground early on when the defences are tight, and they're just trying to keep the ball so that they run the clock down.
Gloucester, on the other hand, have really chosen not to kick downwind, but they're going to give it width. But as you say, Brian, they're going towards the touchlines. Frankie Sheehan, again. Line out has worked well for him so far. This time, it's well taken by Alan Quinlan. Clean through John Kelly, Rob Henderson, Mike Mullins. Fantastic attack by Munster, by far their most direct attack of the game. Sheehan goes in to tidy up a scrappy ruck. Here's Stringer, O'Gara, John Kelly still hovering off his wing. There's no real width to Munster beyond John Hayes. That's why the prop takes it back towards the clutter. O'Gara may opt for the drop goal here. Instead, we had a shrill blast.
Another accidental offside. Well, that was a fantastic move from Munster. You could see this developing off the... Here we go, lovely ball inside, and the support is here. Look, 1 and 2. There we go, just couldn't get away. Gloucester did well on the ground there because they slowed it down.
John
Lovely
Kelly with the burst
there.
through there, a neat little touch. Meanwhile, Gloucester have won the scrum. They've kicked it a long way down towards Jeremy Staunton. It was coming out of the sun at him. He has a second chance. Neat little attack by Staunton. Well taken, Andy Gomersall. Gomersall with support from Todd. John Kelly did well then. He robbed Robert Todd of the ball.
On the kick, number 7 blue on the kick.
Number 7,
blue is
Alan
offside.
Quinlan, offside.
Number 7 blues offside on the kick. Penalty made it about it.
Well, if you didn't hear that, Joel Dume several times said number 7 was offside at the kick. In front of the player, could either be put onside by the man who's kicked the ball or someone who's run from behind him.
And he's staying here.
There's Alan Quinlan wearing the head guard, line out winner, and then penalty conceder. Full house here at Gloucester. Brilliant sunshine, perfect conditions, wonderful day, and no bigger game in Europe than this. The finalists of the last 2 years, or the last year, and the last but one beyond that. Munster, they've lost to Northampton, they've lost to Leicester. Gloucester have been to a semi-final. They lost narrowly to Leicester. But Munster really with all the Euro experience. Nigel Melville, coach of Gloucester.
Azam there, he's made a difference since his time here. Very solid player.
The bounce is kind for Gomersall. Again, Gloucester go wide. Fanalua. Henry Paul into the line. Staunton only just managed to grab him by the shirt. Gloucester recycle. James Forrester, the number 8. It's getting longer and longer. Adam Eustace has only Phil Vickery outside him. There is width to the Gloucester game, but there are big, tight 5 forwards on the wide outside. So they switch, and the passes just get longer. Henry Paul in space. The switch with Gomersall. Marcel Garvey, one-on-one. Good tackle by Rob Henderson. Back come Gloucester, the patient builder, Azam. Gloucester again, they might have numbers here. Henry Paul, Forrester, by him inside him. Again, it's Henderson back there making the tackle. Mercier can't take a rather untidy pass from Andy Gomersall, so after so much patience, fell a bit flat.
Well, Gloucester went wide 3 or 4 times there, but if you actually look at their field position, they went forward approximately 5 yards. And one of the difficulties is they're all running sideways, look, they're just running out of room. Someone's got to commit, because Munster are experienced and they're defending well, they're counting and they're not getting sucked in, so someone's got to come in short and straight and pull some of these players in.
Just looking at Rob Henderson in the Munster centre, he's the one on the right of the screen with his hands on his knees. He's moving uncomfortably, Rob Henderson. He's done a lot of defensive work and he has an appetite for it, but he's not looking good.
Well, Gloucester have been given a free kick here for the tight head of Munster not binding. I thought it was a penalty.
Azam stutters into the tackle. Peter Buxton, the recruit from Newport, takes it on a bit. No real direction to the Gloucester attack, but here comes Todd. He is direct and strong, stays up well, takes Jim Williams to hold him. O'Driscoll puts in another tackle. The little dink now from Gomersall. One for Bime to chase. The strength of the wind takes the ball over the dead ball line. But a new variation from Gloucester there.
Yeah, well, they brought 2 balls in short there. I think they've obviously found themselves that people are counting out wide. Nice little dink there, just slipped away because of the wind. But Bime, well, he would have been there, wouldn't he? If it had been just shorter. Good idea, unfortunate. Look, he's outpaced. Yes, he's in front of Stringer. Gloucester need to keep a couple and drive a couple here. They've not done that yet.
We're
Munster
approaching
had the luxury of just fanning out.
the first quarter is nearly over. And there, the ball held up in this blustery wind. Gloucester do well to take it, but their forwards haven't been able to drive much against the very experienced Munster side. This time, though, they do get that old cherry and white march on. Now it's down to a ruck. Henry Paul playing fly half. Robert Todd drifting across a bit, then tries to straighten it. Now then, how many times has Joël Dumais said no hands, and the hands have gone in? This could be a yellow.
Well, let's see what he says.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Oh, don't worry.
Just a top. And he's the captain, okay? Now, on the tackle, you're on the ground. You can play the ball on the ground. You can do anything. No, you're on the ground. No, but you're on the ground. Yeah, on the ground. You can do anything. Okay? Perfect.
France to Australia. Well, he goes. I mean, he is a tackling player, but as soon as he's there, that's it. He can't do anything. Joel Dumais is right. He's got to let go. He's got to roll away. And that kills games. I like to see referees. You've got a choice. They've either got to roll away or someone's going to be allowed to ruck them out of the way.
I think Joël Dumais would have found it easier to receive the instructions of his countryman Ludovic Mercier, who said, "I'm going for goal." Missed with one long-range effort. This a lot simpler, and Gloucester, at the start of the second quarter of the game, take the lead, 3-0.
Well, I think on balance, Gloucester deserved that. They've had slightly the better of the exchanges. They've certainly had more ball in hand, notwithstanding the fact that a lot of it seems to have gone sideways. They have got the advantage of the wind, though, and I would warrant that they want to get a couple more under the belt this half.
This could be a double-figure wind, 10 points. Ronan O'Gara didn't send it high enough for the wind to catch it and bring it back. No knock on, though.
No hands.
Mercier hasn't really caught one. He has a massive kick. He could kick it almost in this wind the length of the field, but he hasn't really got the spiral on it yet.
No, and in general, actually, the play's been slightly directionless. A couple of times I've looked to see where the Gloucester backline have been, and they've been very flat.
Numbers. Okay.
Mick Galway off the top to Stringer. Very direct, oh, fantastic play. Now then, Munster, oh, the check on Mossy Lawler. The referee has given it. Garvey is defending. Oh, he might have played advantage then, because that went straight down the throat of Marcus Horan. Well, Gloucester cut to pieces in midfield then.
Well, look, this is very simple. I don't know who missed this. It's just a very simple ball. He gets on the back of the line out. Does the right thing here. Well, I don't think Henry Paul did anything wrong there. He stood his ground.
I think Henry Paul knew exactly what he was doing there, and he just checked him. He knew there was nobody at home behind him.
Well, let's have a look.
Again.
Wait, does he move, Henry Paul? No, he's just... no, I don't... That's a hard one. I mean, it wasn't contemporaneous with a kick, was it? It was...
I'm sorry. He repositioned himself. He had so much time. He knew exactly what he was doing. That was a check. Sorry, Brian. Ronan O'Gara to level the scores. Simple kick for Ronan O'Gara. No sooner had they gone behind than they're level. And Brian Morrow, he's given me a terrible look here.
Who is that? Sven? No, it's not Sven. No, it's not. He's not. Of course, he's not here. Look, watch. He's run 3 or 4 yards. Henry Paul doesn't have to get out of the way there. All he has to do is not obstruct him. It's not. Eddie, I'll concede it was marginal, but that's all I'll concede.
The score is 3-3, and Ludovic Mercier is restarting. Well taken, Anthony Foley sets up the ruck, goes to ground early. Rob Henderson on kicking duty, good kick. Drilled it into the wind. Andy Gomersall is back, has Henry Paul inside him. Now then, length from Henry Paul.
Reds.
Got the length, beautiful catch by Foley. Jeremy Staunton might counter, tries, can't get through the first tackler.
Ball, okay.
Peter Stringer only has 3 players outside him. The kick must come from O'Gara. Excellent kick by O'Gara.
Well, he did make touch, but he didn't have any options, did he? He had 2 men outside him left and no one out right.
Okay.
Strange lack of fluency at the moment from Munster. They've set plays, they've done a couple of moves that have gone down well, but the repositioning afterwards, he's done no other option there.
When they played so well at Nice last week, they only had to commit 2 or 3 forwards to the breakdown. But to that last breakdown, they had 6 or 7 forwards in there. Now, and what's Joël Dumais found here?
Come back. Okay.
Oh, just a time check, I think. Olivier Azam, one of the 2 Frenchmen in this Gloucester side. He's at hooker, and here's Mercier, the other, at outside half. And again, Mercier doesn't get his thunderous boot behind that.
No, but it's taken play into the Munster half, and
1 meter.
neither side here has really managed to break through the shackles. They've not got a lot of quick ball either side. Like a little bit of fluency, testing each other in the tackle, but no one's managed to break free yet.
O'Driscoll just got fingers to it. Stringer does well with a bouncing ball.
No hands, no hands.
John Kelly plays scrum half. O'Gara. That's a good kick. And well taken by Henry Paul. Only O'Gara, the smallest man on the field, gave him pressure. Now then, Terry Fanalua. Mike Mullins got back. Good tackle by Jim Williams. Interference on the ground again by the Munster forwards. Andy Gomersall takes it quickly. Mercier thumped down. Now then, chance for Gloucester. Adam Eustace, Henry Paul, Tom Bine. Good tackle, Ronan O'Gara. Henry Paul plays scrum half, but the ball is ripped from him as Gloucester take it through the forwards. Now Henry Paul at scrum half, acting half-back. Fanalua tries to dodge, runs into trouble. Anthony Foley. Munster are offside.
7 blue.
It's number 6, Alan Quinlan again. Well, that's the second penalty he's given away.
7 blue. 7 blue offside. The judge.
Well, I just wonder how long Mr. Dumais is going to indulge the hands on the ground, because he said it continuously and enough penalties have been given away, and actually it does ruin the game.
Stop on the ground.
So I wonder how long it'll be before he reaches into his pocket and says someone's got to have 10 minutes on the touchline for that.
Pardon? Wait, photo, wait. Photo.
This is as simple as they come for Ludovic Mercier, although he missed a penalty in last season's Parker Pen Shield semi-final, a penalty that would have put Gloucester into the final. He missed that one. He hasn't missed today in round 1 of the Heineken Cup. He missed a difficult one early on, but he wasn't going to miss an easy one.
Ron O'Gara is taking his time coming back. I don't think Munster will be that bothered about being 6-3 down, you know.
What do you want?
A better restart by O'Gara.
Play on, play on.
Well taken by Robert Todd. Now then, turnover for Munster.
It's a more red, scrum blue. More red, scrum blue. More.
Nearly a
scrum
turnover
blue.
at the more, but Munster will have the put in.
Yeah, they've got a decent platform now, actually. They haven't had one of these, really. Options left and right. They've been inventive in the first move that they tried.
Jeremy Staunton hits the blind side, drops the ball low, drops the ball now. James Forrester to Garvey. Garvey not finding he can run through an experienced European defence. Now then, that's a better kick by Mercier. That was a better kick by Mercier, landed all of 9 inches infield.
And he gets a tap on the head from Azam, who likes to be driven forward as a forward in front of the shed.
Lock on blue, advantage red.
Yeah, spirals this.
Lock on blue, advantage red.
Sit down, yes, just.
2 lines. 2 lines. Numbers, okay. Play on. Receiver, okay.
Mick Galway gives the line-out call. Ooh, Mick O'Driscoll just got it. Mark Cornwall went up highest, but it just escaped him. Quick ball for Munster. O'Gara, Henderson, Jim Williams. Oh no, it wasn't Williams, but there might have been a late tackle there. Play on. Gloucester in some confusion, going backwards. Double knock on. Gloucester's came first, put in to Munster at the scrimmage.
Well, Jim Williams is a big lad, but he took a big hit when he'd left this. Who was it? I think it's Phil Vickery.
Blue.
Oh, there you go. Got there as quick as I could. That's the old one, isn't it?
C'est bon là, eh?
Marcel Garvey
Y a pas de problème, j'ai vu.
is down injured.
No, problem with number 12 as well.
How quickly you become a marked man in the game now. 19-year-old has only played a handful of games and identified as a threat, so they get to him early.
Well, that is late, and there's and he's looking to get away with that, you know. He wasn't committed to the tackle as the player was kicking. He chose to hit him late.
Can you say
Young Marcel Garvey.
11. Yeah, 11 to go. Blue. No.
While we pause, we can go down to Graham Thomas on the touchline.
Professional. Engage. Yeah. No hands.
Munster go directly through Rob Henderson. They've come direct again. Jeremy Staunton has a little dart on his own, but they've left the ball behind, not for the first time. Staunton is out of position. They have nobody at fullback. Will Phil Vickery kick? No, perhaps not. Mercier, he thinks about kicking, and that's where the space is. Garvey in pursuit. Mossy Lawler comes across. The pace of Garvey, and Garvey's going to win it. Marcel Garvey for Gloucester. Fantastic opening score by the youngster.
He stands up and salutes him to say, what's the problem about? 19, he's a hero here, and he did well there. It was a good chase, difficult skill, kicked the ball, could quite easily have kicked it dead. Took that chance well. I thought he might have kept the ball in hand here because there was a gap and only number 8 there, but that's weighted well. Here he comes. It's a winger against winger race. He does well there, kicks the ball back inside, keeps it in field. Not all over, and yes, he gets it down.
Well, a space wall became available because Jeremy Staunton was there on the right-hand side of the field. Nobody covered. Mossy Lawler suddenly became aware that there was that vast space, but he was up against the Gloucester flyer, and Garvey won the race.
I'm very surprised that the Munster player didn't take him out there. You know, he would have probably got away with it if he dived across him and brought him down.
Messier, courtesy of a kind bounce off the left-hand upright, adds the 2 points. 13 points to 3.
Well, I was about to say that Munster were just starting to get their act together, but this has turned things completely. Foot race here. I'm surprised Lola there didn't just dive in front of him. Come what may, he would have stopped him then.
Yeah, went feet first, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. But Garvey took that well.
Knock on by Gloucester.
Knock on, Reds.
Munster have a chance to get back immediately. Good platform for them.
No ball, no ball.
Now then, a replacement has come on for Munster. Jason Holland has come on for Rob Henderson. Rob Henderson, I think, was injured quite early in this game.
Okay. Yeah, what the problem? Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Well, I think Gloucester will be a lot happy with a 10-point lead. I think it is about that, like you said, Eddie, that sort of advantage. If they put another one in, well, they'll be very happy.
Any news on that injury, Graham Thomas?
Where?
Thanks, Ed. Well, it looks as if he's got an ankle injury. They're just taking off Rob Henderson's strapping on the right ankle, and the physio's just looking at that now. It does look quite swollen. Whether that was an injury from before the game, we're not sure.
Oh, it does look, yeah, it does look swollen, doesn't it? Oh,
Old swelling, do you think?
I wouldn't know. They will feel he's lost, so I'm pretty sure about it, because Rob Henderson, he's been involved in the better of the handling moves that have actually gone on from Munster. Big break in the game. Trevor Woodman is down as well. Oh, is that Vickery? No,
It's
it might
Phil
be
Vickery,
no,
I
that's
think, who's
Vickery.
down.
No, it's Vickery who's down.
Jason Holland, no stranger to the Munster lineup. He's played alongside Mike Mullins many a time. Phil Vickery, the captain, who's just back in the side, and Clive Woodward won't be too happy to see Phil Vickery down.
Well, he's up again. He's a tough lad.
Munster put in.
No.
Free kick.
No.
Gloucester
Yeah,
boring
yeah.
in,
Behind
not
the
driving
legs.
straight.
Behind them.
Again, isn't that a penalty?
Well, I thought he'd give it for pushing early, which is also the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
But they didn't then allow him to take a quick free kick. He said, "You're taking behind the 8," which I don't think is a rule either.
John Hayes takes the penalty
No
up
hands.
10 metres. Then Jim Williams. Now the 3/4. Here's Mike Mullins. Couldn't quite offload, but can get up and move on because he wasn't held. Stringer, Staunton tried to direct play the other way because he knows he's only got John Kelly there. Yeah, Gloucester offside there.
You come from the wrong side. You come from the wrong side.
And that's quite clear, coming from the wrong side.
Du mauvais côté.
Ball goes
It's coming
down
from the
here.
wrong side.
It's going to be right down. He's just stood up there. He's in front of the back foot. The rule is,
Post,
if
post.
there's a ruck, there's
Yeah.
2 men over the ball, you've got to come in from behind, right behind. You can't come in from the side, parallel to the touchline. And I must say, I just get the feeling that when Munster do get going forward, they are, they're crisper in the backs. And I think in the second half, if they get a lot of possession, they could give the Gloucester midfield a bit of a hard time.
Yeah, we've seen the break by Mossy Lawler. It was a simple move off the top of a line out. One pass and Lawler was through. Rob Henderson was dangerous while he was on. Mike Mullins might suddenly take on the more direct role in midfield. Meanwhile, Ronan O'Gara. This to move Munster up to 6. Pushed it wide, the wind wasn't going to bring that round.
Got a lot of sympathy from the shed for missing that anyway. Right, smile to his face.
Jeremy Staunton, way back in his own 22. That will come back towards his own side. It's well gathered.
No hands.
by Munster. Their own kick. O'Gara drills it behind Tom Byam, with John Kelly charging up on him. Byam slips. Ronan O'Gara cuts in field, takes the challenge, waits for the support. O'Stringer has it now. Here goes Mick Galway, the 36-year-old. They recycle quickly. Jason Holland checks in midfield, has support from O'Driscoll and John Hayes. No hands, no hands. It was a ruck. Penalty to Munster. Well, you can't say the referee's not telling them.
No, I think Joel Dumé's had a good game so far. He's been very direct. He's explained very well. And if people don't listen to him, they get what they deserve, really, don't they? He's commentating all the time saying, don't do this, no hands. It's a ruck, he just puts his hands in there.
You know, you were just saying that the Munster three-quarters were starting to look a bit more fluid. I think their forwards set that up. They have this variety to their game now, and if they go in at half-time only 7 points adrift, that is, if they kick this penalty, they'd be pretty pleased, wouldn't they?
I would think so, because Gloucester early on had a lot of the ball, and they did put them under pressure, but they only showed 2 penalties as a result of that. Joel Dumé said there's 4 minutes left. He'll just pop this over, simple one.
No mistake this time by Ronan O'Gara. The gap is reduced to 7 points. Nigel Melville, coach of Gloucester this season. Well, and halfway through last season as well. His side are still in the lead, but there is this wind. There's a big Gloucester flag at one end, and it's blowing behind Gloucester at the moment. They've done well to get that ball back from the kickoff. Andy Gomersall, Mercier well taken one-handed. Good tackle by John Hayes. He's always been a good tackler, John Hayes, the Munster tight head prop.
No, that's fine.
Robert Todd, missed pass to Terry Fanalua, and he goes on that drift across field. Byam tries to straighten things up. Trevor Woodman goes in to add support to what is now a ruck. Todd plays scrum half. Andy Gomersall, Phil Vickery, well taken. Henry Paul through the gap. O'Driscoll, Mick O'Driscoll tries to get him down, but it took 3 months to defenders out there. James Forrester, good spin, a double spin by the young number 8. Jim Williams, though, what a strip of the ball by the old Wallaby forward. The old head. Now then, ambition by Ronan O'Gara. Thought there was nobody at home at full-back, but Tom Byam has done well to fill the void. Staunton gets back, Byam does well. Now then, here come Gloucester through their second row forwards. Good play by the pair of them. In fact, there's Forrester involved as well. There's Eustace. Cornwall started it off, and there's Eustace 3 passes away. High tackle, otherwise Munster were away then through Mike Mullins, but the tackle was high. They can't believe it.
Oh. Well, I'm not sure about that. Let's have a look. Well, that's not high. Tremendous hands, actually. Both second rows. There, juggles.
I'm very sorry.
Where?
I didn't see the number, but I'm sure. No.
Well, he said he didn't see the number. I think he's... No. Nothing wrong with that. Sorry,
No.
Joe, that's wrong. That's a mistake. You'd have to be fairly tall to make eye tackle him anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's a mystery. Maybe we'll find it later. Ludovic Mercier. This is back in the position from where he missed his first kick. The ball won't follow that direct path to the posts because there is this wind. Beautifully struck. 16 points to 6. That 10-point lead, and we were talking about a 10-point wind. The game is very interestingly poised.
Well, he's taken that chance, and I think they were very lucky to get that. They won't care about that, obviously. Munster, I don't think they're very pleased as they dragged themselves back, and that's just before half-time. There's a minute left, says Joel Dumé. Game will be well poised.
Ball bobbles loose for Munster. Knock on again. Again, Munster through Frankie Sheehan. Just have a little word with Joël Dumais.
Red.
Red put in. Andy Gomersall to feed the scrum. He was capped, Andy Gomersall, under the coaching reign of Jack Rowell. And perhaps he wasn't ready for it, but he looks very rounded now. He's had a great season with Gloucester so far.
Yeah, he suffered a bit at Wasp before. He came down and he's had to learn a hard trade, but you know, he's a much more complete player than he ever was. He's making decisions now. He used to be a very instinctive player, athletic, but he takes more responsibility now, and he's doing well. And of course, Clive Woodward's here. Oh, that's a good drive.
Wow, good drive by Munster. And they get their reward. They made a real mess of the Gloucester scrimmage, and in this part of the world, that will inflict some psychological damage, if nothing else.
Watch this. Here we go, here we go. That's a tremendous drive, and that is a very good Gloucester front row. They're very heavy. I tell you what, that's just a simple lack of concentration. I mean, neither side has had any ascendancy in the scrum. There's been no real pressure, Gloucester, or the other way. And all I can conclude is that, you know, it's just before half-time, everyone's looking around, they're waiting to go down the tunnel, and all of a sudden you don't concentrate, and that's the result. And if he puts this over, it's a give me, really.
Good old-fashioned 8-man shove, and they wrecked Gloucester. And these 3 points will hurt. If this kick goes over, of course. A painful penalty for Gloucester to concede on the stroke of half-time. It means that the deficit is back to 7 points. Gloucester still have the advantage, but at Kingsholm, with the win behind them in the first half, Gloucester lead by only 16 points to 9.
Well, it's delicately poised. I'm looking forward to the second half. Let's see. Money, Munster, just. There we are. 34 tackles. It doesn't really give the flavour of the game. I think Gloucester have tried to do more with the ball, but they've ran sideways a lot. They've not been as direct, and I think that the distribution that we were talking about in the studio earlier on has been lacking. I just get the feeling that if Munster do get more ball, which they should do with this wind, then their backs have a better cutting edge.
There has been a price for Munster. Rob Henderson has gone off with an ankle injury, but all in all, that cherry and white crowd may be a little concerned. Half-time score here, Gloucester 16, Munster 9.
Ryan Moore's money at this stage on Munster, and he doesn't part with it easily. It is delicately balanced, isn't it?
Yeah, I think conditions, it looks nice, but it's quite windy out there, and Munster will have the elements at their back in the second half. But possession-wise, Gloucester have dominated, field position dominated. But, you know, Jerry and I were just saying they've had so many overlaps, but they're just playing lateral rugby. They're just passing out. They're not straightening up. There's no dummies and going, no angles at all. And the Munster defence have drifted extremely well. So what you've got to do is pick up and drive and suck the defenders in a little bit, because, you know, they're not committing anybody to the rucks and mauls.
What they seem to do, they play a pod system where every forward pretty much knows what they're doing from a set play, from a line out or a scrum. So they win the ball from the set play. It goes out to the wing. They'll be the backs to do what they do, and then when it comes back, they'd be led a load of forwards. But if you haven't got a forward who knows how to run a decent line, you're going to struggle.
Get him out of there.
But we have seen glimpses of some forwards doing some good things with the ball. But that's what you expect from modern day guys.
The try that they have scored through Marcel Garvey was the product of some fairly direct play and some neat football as well. Yeah,
very direct play, but he's been very quiet. But there's Vickery in the outside half position to Mercier. It's a flat defence, bang. If we hold it there, there's just a foot race. You've got Garvey there and Lawler there, and what's going to happen is he's going to put the kick through there where the ball's going to go, and all of a sudden it's a foot race, and Garvey's just got too much pace. Bang. Your money's on Lawler there. He's got the angle, but Garvey just goes and goes and goes and goes, and he just gets the foot to it. And he gets a great bounce, holds up, he's back on his feet straight away, and all of a sudden, bang, he goes down.
He has got tremendous pace, tremendous power. Lawler might be thinking he he could have done better here.
Definitely, but just they get there pretty much at the same time. Garvey just gets his foot there, and that's some skill in itself to to keep the ball there. Taps it down, and afterwards he kind of, we've not shown it, but he gives it the old.
He's got
as if. Why didn't you do that earlier? I've been waiting here. Here for 3 minutes.
If you're the defensive winger there, though, you've got to clatter Garvey. You've got to take the ball and Garvey. If you don't take one, you take the other.
But
it's as simple as that.
But you're gonna. I mean, Garvey. The reason why he couldn't is because Garvey. If Garvey had gone down for it, you could have hit him on the ball. If he's gone with his foot, you can't hit the bloke. You're just going to get a penalty try.
Yeah, but if you commit, I think, he could...
Jiffy, that's your rugby league talking
No, it's not
That's your rugby league talking about.
In a way, it was a bonus, because, as you were saying earlier, they'd had so much possession, so many potential overlaps, and so little had come from it. Give us an illustration of that.
Yeah, well, Jason, this is the forwards outside the line. If you're playing the pod system, we have 4 forwards on one side and 4 on the other side. Bang, there we go, there's a forward there. They get it, or Todd, I think. The ball comes out, and there's Woodman. But look, Garvey, stays out. Look at the defence. Look at the defence coming across. There's more Munster defenders there than Gloucester attackers, and they are drifting across, and it's making the defence easy for them because there's no one straightening up. And if you've got a prop forward running to the middle of the field, the cover defence is going to get to him sooner or later.
It's as if they haven't planned what they're going to do. From first phase, they seem okay, but they don't know what to do after that, because they've got so many people there. It just takes one guy to run straight, commit 2 or 3 defenders, quick ball, and away you go again, pretty close to it, not sending it right over, because Munster are just waiting there to see what they're going to do.
Munster's opportunities, and they have had a few. Ronan O'Gara featured in one in particular, and this was a pretty sweet move.
Yeah, with the little that they've had, they really have exploited it, and it's just a little slip inside. Kelly goes through. You look for support. There's our man Hendo, and it kind of you just needed the quick ball for it to kind of to work even better, and that's, I mean, it's probably been a feature of this match that our French referee has been blowing up so much, because you're getting right in those key positions and it's not quite happening because you're not freeing the ball. I think what Dume needs to do is sin-bin somebody, because there's been too many penalties.
Did our French referee get it right on that little body check from Henry Paul on Marty Lawler?
No, there's the break first of all. Bogo, if you stop it there, what happens is this guy here is a blind side back rower, and he's on against a winger. So what happens, he just goes and this guy just shoots up there. He's just taking him on for pace. If we run it on, it's good play because they've attacked the back of the line out, because they've shortened it, and it's the slower back rower there. That looks like a blatant professional foul. If you look at it at a different angle, what happens is Lawler comes through here, he kicks it. Henry Paul hasn't got to go the way. He hasn't got to move. So it's up to Lawler to run round him or something, and we looked at it 4 times, didn't we? So I don't think it was a penalty, no.
OK, so he got it right there. Maybe Munster, well, for sure, Munster were unfortunate with the penalty they conceded just before half-time. That might be crucial on what was judged to be a high tackle.
Yeah, this is where you've got to question Dume again. I mean, it looks so innocuous when we see it, and it's kind of, you think, well, what is it for? I think some of the players are looking for kind of holding on to the ball, but when we saw it was a high tackle, I mean, it got to his chest. I mean, it was nowhere near his neck, so yeah, costly.
Nevertheless, with a big push from Munster just before half-time, another penalty. The margin is just 7 points. That's within range, isn't it?
That's it. And what they're clever, they exploit the back of the line out. If there's weaknesses, they're experienced enough to play and exploit those weaknesses. With our Gloucester, as Jerry said, they just hit in rucks, go in left, hit in rucks, go in right, and the defence is organised and doesn't commit to rucks more. So at the moment, with the wind at their backs, an early score, Munster be favourites.
Munster can definitely do it. Williams, who's leading by example, seems to be all over the park, but he is giving away a couple of penalties which he needs to cut out, because it seems to me that they're going to claw their way back in through those penalties.
OK, we shall see with our live coverage of the second half. Munster trail by 7, but with what's judged to be a 10-point wind at their backs for that second half. Live coverage of the second half coming right up. Let's just show you what's happening elsewhere this afternoon's matches. Couple of results in particular, London Irish giving Toulouse a tremendous tremendous battle in France this afternoon in that match in Pool 5, but eventually going down by 28 points to 23. Béziers have beaten Calvisano 32 points to 16 in Pool 1. That's the pool of the holders, Leicester. And Glasgow 16, Munster 9. That's half-time. Llanelli in Pool 3, leading Glasgow by 32 points to 10. That's in Pool 3, but our concentration will be on that Pool 2 match, Gloucester and Munster, in just a few minutes' time. OK, let's turn swiftly to football. The England match is definitely on. I understand all those doubts about waterlogged pitches in Bratislava have apparently disappeared. We'll get details on that and all the other football news now from Ray Stubbs.
Thanks, Steve. Nationwide League games in Divisions 1, 2 and 3, but let's just check it out and take a look at the situation in Bratislava. England's game does go ahead, but it is going to be wet, it looks like. Torrential rain and persistent rain in Bratislava in the last 5 days. Sven-Göran Eriksson travelled to the stadium to assess the pitch along with UEFA delegates and parties from both teams. But in the end, the UEFA delegate in charge again decided a pitch inspection wasn't needed. And the match goes ahead live on BBC One at 6:30. European Championship qualifiers are underway, and Scottish fans will be encouraged by the situation in Iceland. Tony Gubb is watching.
Yes, Ray, an early goal has settled Scotland's nerves. West Ham's Christian Daly heading his 4th international goal after only 6 minutes, following a sustained spell of pressure from a corner. But Scotland have not created much else, and they've had a scare. Iceland's Chelsea star Ida Gudjonsson rattling their crossbar with one shot and pulling another one just wide. Scotland have lost Jackie McNamara injured, but they've done enough to suggest they deserve to win this, but you feel they need the breathing space of a second goal before Bertie Vogts can start to celebrate his first victory.
Thanks, Tony. As far as Nationwide Division 1 is concerned, Millmore now, Rotherham playing Gillingham, and Steve Sutton, I think, will tell us it may well be the last game of Ronnie Moore in charge of the club.
Yes, indeed, Ray. 1-1 at half-time, but as you say, the main talking point among the Rotherham fans should be the future of manager Ronnie Moore. Intense speculation that he could be in line to replace George Burley at Ipswich. The club has promised a statement on the situation at 5 this evening. And if this is his swan song, then so far he's seen his side take a 12-minute lead through a farcical Gillingham own goal from Barry Ashby, before slack defending at the other end allowed Rod Wallace to wander into the Rotherham box unmarked and grab the equaliser 4 minutes later.
Now, Steve Mays at Ipswich, has that news filtered through? It's Ipswich against Sheffield Wednesday this afternoon.
Well, it has filtered through, but no definite confirmation one way or other from Ipswich Town officials here this afternoon, Ray. But there's been a good start for Tony Mowbray, who made 3 changes to George Burley's last selection. The first 10 minutes, though, showing us just why both of these sides are struggling. Both sides missing 2 very easy chances. Culprit in chief was Wednesday's Simon Donnelly, who hit the crossbar from 8 yards out in the first minute and then drove over after Seabon put him clean through minutes later. But the goals came in the space of 5 minutes on the half hour. Pablo Cunhago following up Gardso's header, well saved by Pressman for the first, and then a straightforward tap-in from Clapham square pass for the second.
Now, Watford, 4th, could go top if they beat Grimsby. Unbeaten at home, they're playing second from bottom Grimsby this afternoon. At Vicarage Road, Ian Payne.
Well, it's half-time. Watford 1, Grimsby 0. Watford could go 4th tonight if they win. Grimsby will stay second bottom if they lose. The Watford goal coming from Irish international Dominic Foley after 12 minutes. For Watford, Danny Webber on loan from Manchester United looks sharp up front. It's not a great game, though. I must mention there was a competition, or if there was, for the most excruciating pre-match entertainment. Watford would definitely be up there. One fan's karaoke rendition of Andy Williams' I Love You Baby had to be heard to be believed. It was absolutely horrendous. I know that Jerry Hallowell's a Watford fan, so I suppose it may have been a late bid to get on tonight's Pop Stars programme. He won't. Watford 1, Grimsby 0.
Half-time entertainment from Ian Payne. Watford are going to go 4th if they win. Just to confirm, the England game will be live on BBC One at 6:30 this evening, and Scotland going well in Iceland so far this afternoon. They lead by a goal scored by Christian Daly. But it's back to the rugby and Stephen Gloucester.
Thanks very much indeed, Ray. Now, how significant is that win going to be in the second half of this Heineken Cup Pool 2 match? Gloucester leading by 16 points to 9, but it's Munster who'll have the wind at their backs in front of this capacity crowd at the tightly packed King's Home this afternoon. Jonathan, how do you read it?
I think they've got to get secure more ball, that's all. I think the Gloucester boys have secured so much possession, they feel a little bit out of it, living on scraps. If they secure more possession, No, they will have a great chance of winning this game.
And of course, Rob Henderson out in that first half, sustaining an ankle injury in the Munster lineup. He's crucial. The huge reception for Gloucester. Can they do it, Jerry?
Yeah, they should win. I mean, I think it's a simple chat from Ryan and Melville just to say, look, guys, you're getting all this position, straighten up a bit and go from there and stop running across and then start scoring tries.
Well, I'm not sure that packed Kingsholm crowd are quite that confident. They're in for a tense 40-minute second half of this Heineken Cup tie. We're back with Brian Moore and Eddie Buckler.
16 points to 9, the Gloucester lead. Ronan O'Gara with the ball in his hands and the sweet sensation of the wind at his back. O'Gara immediately uses that wind to send the ball down to Ludovic Mercier. Play on, says the referee. Well, I can't believe that. Well taken, O'Gara. Jeremy Staunton weaves his way through the traffic to present it for Stringer and O'Gara, and that might be a tail, to be told, or that might outrun. That'll be a scrum back. Went out of play in the dead ball area. Scrum down, Gloucester ball.
Well, how that isn't a knock-on, I have no idea. He's facing straight forward, he's bounced forward. When he hit the floor, it went forward. Got away with that, and he's right, the ball went dead, so they've got a reasonable...
No, you wait. No, free kick. No, sorry, stop.
Timeout, says referee Jules Dumais. I think he's going to have to explain himself here.
Stay engaged. Also, you don't play before, okay? Just run road. Don't go. Okay.
Driving in early, I suppose.
Well, the referee is supposed to say crouch, pause, engage, and he's supposed to go down on the engage. I'm not sure he does much good anyway, but to the extent that they're supposed to do that, they don't.
Wasted chance.
Dear, oh dear.
Ludovic Mercier, he couldn't kick straight to touch because it was a free kick, but he did kick straight to touch from the tap, but it went out on the full. So it's a line out to Munster throw.
I think he's confused them there. I can't believe him. He didn't think that was a direct kick, otherwise he surely wouldn't have done that.
Good leap by Mick Galway. Jason Holland takes the direct route. O'Gara, Alan Quinlan. Quinlan cuts inside. Jim Williams takes on Trevor Woodman. Again, no numbers for Munster out beyond Ronan O'Gara. Hence the kick. That hasn't gone far enough forward. Beautifully taken, Robert Todd. Phil Vickery with a dummy. Now numbers for Gloucester. Andy Gomersall. Gomersall outstrips Mick O'Driscoll, the second row. Staunton makes the tackle, and the knock-on went forward. And this time Gloucester see no knock-on. Well, they had one not given, and that one was given.
Well, Gomersall is furious, but he just couldn't get the ball away. The tremendous play by Vickery. Gomersall, he's got the pace here. I think that's to get. He's got to look earlier.
Come on, okay. No ball.
Well, I think it went forward. I think Joe Dumais is probably right.
Up, no. Together. Shoulders up.
News from Graham Thomas.
Thanks, Ed. Some more news on Rob Henderson. It's not good for Munster fans, I'm afraid. As well as a sprained right ankle, he's also torn his bicep muscle in his left arm, so it looks as if Rob Henderson's going to be out for some time.
Okay.
An arm and a leg.
Je la vois en avant.
Olivier Azam collects the ball. Gloucester inside their own half.
I think we've seen this half that O'Gara is prepared to kick, but what Munster mustn't do is stop playing and let the wind, believe the wind will take it all the way for them. They've got to carry on. And they've dragged that one down, so Gloucester will make ground on the kick and have the throw.
The catch by Adam Eustace.
On the mark.
Maul dragged down. Now then, Ludovic Mercier.
Not in the tackling zone.
Maul dragged down now. Ludovic Mercier will kick this low into the breeze.
No, it's a more.
Well, he only makes 15 metres there, but Gloucester have the throw here. to shorten the line out.
Members, okay. That's good.
The switching goes on. Eustace again is the target. Azam loops round to scrum half, sends out a floater which bounces. Jake Boer held up by Jim Williams.
It's a ball.
Excellent work by Munster. Jim Williams, although Gloucester have done well. Mercier switches play. Todd, Henry Paul, Fanalua on the loop. Now Garvey tight against the touchline. So elusive. Had only a foot to work in there. Todd drives in. Fanalua, the other centre, is in there in the middle of that ruck. Now then, the forwards are all stretched out, so they cut inside. Jake Boer from the back row.
No hands.
Henry Paul, Mercier, Tom Bine tries to slip the tackle. Tries to slip the pass out of the tackle, and how close was that?
Well, after great work by Garvey, who had no space, Gloucester got 2 or 3 quick possessions, and they had a 4-on-3, and they should be very disappointed. Could have gone earlier. There was a man there. If they'd have all just straightened up, simple hands, they would have been in the corner.
Here are all the midfield involved.
Does well there, doesn't he? Look, he's got a foot of space, comes back inside, makes a ball available. One quick ruck, they get another quick ruck, and they create the 4-on-3, and they don't take it.
Okay.
They left a fair trail of destruction, though. 2 Munster players down. And I think it's Marcus Horan, the prop, who's still down. Gloucester, meanwhile, are that close to the try line. The Munster forwards in very much defensive mode now. It's Alan Quinlan, who's taken off his head guard and makes his way pretty unsteadily towards this defensive line out.
On the line. Members, wait. No, wait. No throw. Numbers,
Important throw for Frankie Sheehan.
Come on. 10. Okay, come on.
5 metres from their own try line. It's a lob throw. Mick O'Driscoll takes it.
No hands. That's fine.
O'Gara, that hasn't found touch. Bime, Henry Paul. Marcel Garvey. Garvey against Mullins. Good strength from the little winger.
No hands.
Robert Todd plays scrum half. Slips to Henry Paul, who slips to Azam, who slips to Fanalua. Fanalua inside to Bime.
No hands.
Gomersall feeds Todd. Starts to drift across, but Garvey straightens things up for Gloucester. Garvey didn't release at the tackle.
Well, Azam absolutely flattened Marcus Horan then. Superb skill there, but if this runs on and you watch the next ruck, he flies in.
Number 14.
And he's getting a chant from the crowd of Ollie, Ollie. When this goes down, you watch it a second, he comes over the time, barrels him. Here we come. Oh, ready, here we go. Poof, there you go. Oh.
Meanwhile, Munster have missed touch. Was that a high tackle on Marcel Garvey? The ball is bouncing all over the place. No high tackle.
I think it was. I really do think it was.
Knock on.
So he's seen ones that aren't there, but he's not seen ones that are there. No, it's not very dangerous, but it is high. You're not allowed to do it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, Garvey ducked into that. That can't be a high tackle if he's ducking into it.
No ball.
Small blood ducks into tackle. It's got to go some to be a high one.
Engage. No. Come back.
Will Munster go for this 8-man drive again to get their momentum going again? Gloucester have done well in the opening moments of the second half. Instead, it's a solid Gloucester scrummage. Mercier, Terry Fanalua cuts back inside.
Number one, blue.
Marcus Horan penalised for turning in.
Number 1.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see why he stopped that.
I didn't see.
Joel Dume is on the other side of the scrum, so I can only imagine that it was from his touch judge. It had no effect on the game anyway, because Gloucester had won the ball.
It will be a Gloucester throw on the Munster 22. There's Rob Henderson. Oh, he's in a sling. He's probably got a walking stick there somewhere because his ankle is also very swollen. Olivier Azam checks the call, and they throw long towards Mark Cornwall. On comes the Gloucester drive.
No! No! No!
The ball hasn't gone to ground yet. On goes the maul. Now it's down. Mercier, Todd cuts back. Quinlan helps with the tackle. James Forrester. Forrester with that trademark pirouette in and out of the tackle. They come right. Phil Vickery goes inside. Gomersall tried the kick. Right option?
Probably not. I think he kept the ball in hand there, kept the pressure on. All right, if there's no direct attacking opportunity there, let's just recycle it. There are enough men there. 1, 2, you know, he could have gone down, he could have kept the ball. Stringer did well there, the back. So this feeling, Gloucester at the moment, they're getting a lot of ball. They've got a lot of ball all game, but you know, they're having attacking opportunities, they're just not putting them away. They're not running straight. It's causing problems.
Good covering by Peter Stringer after the little probe by Andy Gomersall. Gloucester have the line out and possession again. Jake Boer and Trevor Woodman. No, Woodman goes in the back now. Adam Eustace leaves the ball for Gomersall. Todd tackled by O'Gara, just.
Yeah. Turnover, turnover, turnover.
Munster have turned the ball over, so O'Gara's work was good. This time it was a double turnover, and the second turnover was illegal. Hands in.
Well, a crucial loss for Gloucester again. Another attacking opportunity. Just gets hold of him, O'Gara. That's a good tackle there. And where does it go? Just squirts out there. He's got his hands on. He's on his feet, just. And a Gloucester hand goes in, pulls it back. There we are. Oh, there you are. See it at the bottom there. But that will actually relieve what's been 6-7 minutes of good Gloucester pressure, but they've come away with nothing at the moment.
O'Gara, they've done it again. They've missed. Oh no, he hasn't. I beg his pardon. He found touch that time, but with this wind behind them, Munster really must make as much ground as they can.
Well, Gloucester have caught the last 3 or 4 lineouts and driven, and I think that's right into this wind, and they do that well. And they're going to have to carry on denying Munster the ball, because that's the way to protect this lead, is just simply to keep the ball.
Munster throw. O'Driscoll beaten to the ball this time. It's scrappy for Gomersall, but he does feed James Forrester. Forrester at number 8. And again, it's another feature of this second half that Munster are being heavily penalised at the breakdown area.
They are, and Joel Dume has really got to do something about this, because it's spoiling the game. Someone's got to go in the bin, because people haven't come here to watch penalties, and he's warned people enough. He's given a lot of warnings. I think he's going to tell them it's the last time here as well.
On the ground, penalty. On the ground, another penalty. Okay, too much.
Yeah. Okay.
You know that now?
Got it. Yeah.
Speak to them.
Yeah.
Finish.
Next one.
I think it was John Hayes who just lay there and prevented the quick release.
Fine. Play on.
Phil Vickery has just gone back and said next one sin bin. So Mr. Dume is tired of it as well.
Yeah.
So far, Gloucester are riding the wind well. There's a good kick by Mercier into it, and they remain camped in the Munster half. Long, hard throw, well taken by Mark Cornwall. Terry Fanalua.
No hands. Okay.
Gomersall, Henry Paul. One-on-one, makes ground. They keep going right. Andy Gomersall Little dummy, good strength by the scrum half. Good strength by the Gloucester forwards. Good attacking play. It's got a bit scrappy now. Ludovic Mercier just slices his drop goal attempt. The score remains Gloucester 16, Munster 9.
They just managed to get in his face enough here. Nice little break. Henry Paul does well there, but Gomashul seeing the gaps close to the ruck.
Reds.
Henry Paul sends it towards Jeremy Staunton. Staunton uses the wind, but they have to be careful. They don't want it to go too far. Fanalua is back there. Gives it to Mercier. Little bit of French darting play. Only finds Stringer. Good darting play of his own. Ireland scrum half. Knock on by Anthony Foley. Another error by Munster.
Well, they're not helping themselves.
A result from Stradey Park. Llanelli, last season's semi-finalists, have beaten Glasgow handsomely, 45-15.
No ball. Quesanold, engage.
Again, do you think the scrum, the front rows aren't at all straight, are they?
No, but the ball's got to come in quicker. It should go, but it should be down now and away.
Another Munster drive. Didn't go through 90. Forrester does well to sort out that wheeling scrum. Jake Boer picks up. Now Mercier, the inside pass to Adam Eustace. Sound Ulster, Munster, sorry, tackling. Gomersall. Henry Paul. Gomersall done a lot more darting from the base of the loose situations. This time he sends it wide to Mercier. Advantage to Gloucester. Vickery stumped in the tackle, but it will be a penalty to Gloucester. Again, Gomersall. Olivier Azam is tempted to take it quickly, but he resists the temptation.
Under extreme pressure from Henry Paul, who was screaming at him not to do it. Andy Gomersall is having a much bigger influence on the game this half because of the wind. They need to keep the ball tight. He's sniping left and right close to the rucks. The forwards have been given a direct job to do, an easy job, which is just to keep the ball tight and go forward. And Gloucester know this game very well, and it's up to Munster to scrap for first place possession. And at the moment they're just not getting it, and they're being strangled by Gloucester, who are playing this wind well. And that is a great kick.
That was a fantastic kick by Mercier. Just inside the corner flag. They'll come back to a 5-metre line. All line-outs must take place. Well, not all line-outs, but close line-outs have to come back to 5 metres.
And they will catch and drive this, pound to a penny.
I think they might.
And Munster will try and drag it down as quick as they can, I would think. There we go, here we go.
Mark Cornwell with the catch, here comes the drive. That's well defended by Munster. Or is it?
No.
Here come Gloucester. Try given!
Yes!
The second bite worked superbly for Gloucester. It is a try, says referee Joël Dumais. And Gloucester, having had all the play in the second half, extend their lead. Well deserved.
Absolutely well deserved. You can't. They've come out this half, had the game plan in mind to keep the ball tight and turn the screw, and that's what they've done. Jake Boer is the try scorer, but a lot of work was done, and the important thing here was that they didn't panic. Munster have collapsed the first one, but they've kept them all tight there, look, so it goes round left. They change the point of attack, surging forward. Eventually Munster run out of players, and down it goes, and he's there. Very well deserved. They've denied Munster hardly any possession. They've given them no possession this half, and that is well deserved, and that's changed the balance of the game markedly, because Munster now are going to have to throw caution to the wind. They're going to have to open this game up. They can't rely just on placing the ball in the corners anymore.
No, they can't. Mind you, they haven't had much ball to do much placing with. Mercier adds the 2. It's an ugly scoreline for Munster. They trail now by 14 points. Gloucester 23, Munster 9, and no points in this second half.
Well, it was a well-constructed try here. The first one, as you see, goes down, but the patient, they roll the ball left. And although that looks a bit of a mess from the sideline, there's a lot of skill involved in there, a lot of strength and a lot of skill.
Azam steps in front of Andy Gomersall and makes the clean catch, which was important. Well, how dominant is this Gloucester pack all of a sudden? Jake Boer at the front of that drive. Mercier has time to measure his kick. That's a much better spiral on the ball. Superb kick by Ludovic Mercier. And Gloucester seem in total control.
And they are, and this is a game that, you see, Eddie, this is a game which they're comfortable with. They know this well, they can play direct now, they've got a lead. When they need to kick, they've got the players to do it. And the forwards are simply taking a stranglehold on this game. And it means that Munster, once they get driven at, all they can do is pull things down or get offside, and Gloucester are taking full advantage of that. If Munster don't start getting some first phase ball and some continuity, they're dead.
Let me referee. Thanks. 2 lines.
Mick Galway has come off the field.
Fine. Play on.
Eddie Halvey is on. He's a back row forward. So, big push there, big push there. How that isn't a penalty. Meanwhile, it could well be a try for Gloucester. Gomersall on his own. Gomersall against Stringer. Stringer just makes the tackle. Gloucester pour in for the ball. Here it is through Mercier. Mercier for the line. He's made it. But this may go back to the line-out, and Brian Moore is laughing because there was such a blatant infringement there. How did the referee miss it?
Well, Gloucester won't care. No one will care about that, but that has sealed the game. That was one of the most blatant pushes I've ever seen. And they're like, watch this. Here we go. Shoot, there you go, shoved miles out of the way, and off he sets. And from there is a dart from Gomersall, who nearly got there, and Mercier decided that he wasn't going to pass the ball, he was going to go straight. He gets over the line, he will kick this, and I think that's a game over. Gomersall just can't quite get there. Ball comes out, and Mercier, they can't stop him. Good reach. He's kicked the conversion. And well, take the chances. Referee didn't see it, didn't give it, play the whistle.
Yeah, stop.
Now the referee's stopping play here.
No, wait. Wait.
The referee has called a timeout here.
Him.
Eddie Halvey is on for Mick Galway. It's only just stop and restart his clock, so it's game over really. Gloucester, having done so well in the second half, play on, more play on. Gloucester in absolute control. Peter Buxton from the back row thunders, as does Azam. Azam still driving on. Gloucester are rampant. Mercier, good offload to Trevor Woodman, but they run into each other.
Yeah, it's a scramble. No, of course.
Another accidental offside, but the Gloucester forwards are taking it to Munster, and when you get Kingsholm, when you get behind and you get these people running at them, the shed get behind them, it's very, very difficult to claw your way back into the game, and Munster need to score almost immediately to have any chance at all. And I think it's too late anyway. I think they've gone.
Yeah, there's no punch to their, no legitimate punch to their tackling anymore. They are being rolled backwards.
I asked the judge, he said me, no problem. No, I'm sorry.
Alan Quinlan is still making his complaint about that touch.
Well, he said to him, I nearly went over my own man, which is true. He said, and Joel Dumy in response said, well, I spoke to the touch judge and we didn't say anything, sorry.
Parce que le, soi-disant, le bleu, il a été poussé. Tu me confirmes que non? Ils viennent pleurer, les bleus, parce qu'ils me disent qu'il a été poussé en touche. Je suis d'accord avec toi.
Yeah, so did you see the push?
Okay. He says they're about to burst into tears because they're claiming they were pushed. Did you see it? No? That's all right with me.
No, wait. So no, engage.
I'm glad one of us is fluent in French. I only know swear words.
They'll do. Here we go. Munster, have they anything left? Mike Mullins. Oh, Fanalua made the initial crunch, and Mullins was stopped in his tracks.
It's a maul. It's a maul. Scrum red. It's a maul.
More proof of Gloucester's dominance of this match. Mullins stopped, held up. Scrum down, Gloucester ball.
You can see the body language as well here, Eddie. The Munster forwards look tired.
Professional, engage. Okay, play on. Fine. No.
Just about a quarter of an hour left on the clock, and there again how easily Gloucester get over the advantage line. James Forrester, good performance in front of Clive Woodward. Mercier sends it long. Henry Paul into the line. Marcel Garvey. This could be ready-made for Garvey to put on a little show of his own to Clive Woodward. Gomersall.
No hands.
Will they give it width? Fanalua. Here's Forrester again. Forrester tries to cut inside Jim Williams.
No hands. No hands.
No hands, says the referee. No scrum half for the moment. Paul. They've still got the overlap. Here goes Adam Eustace. It was 4 against 2 for a moment there.
No hands. Yeah.
Back come Gloucester. They've retained possession. Phil Vickery dances. Olivier Azam, better tackling from Munster. Still Gloucester have possession. Excellent little flick pass by Andy Gomersall, but it did go forward.
No, blue.
Well, Gloucester may not have scored there, and actually not made that much ground, but they've wound another 2-3 minutes down the clock. And look at that. Munster had to make twice as many tackles as Gloucester, and that really is very indicative of a fantastic performance up front by Gloucester. They really have taken to him. They spent most of this half against the wind. All right, they've got a bit of a slope, but they've camped well and down, and they've been very well orchestrated by their halfbacks. Andy Gomersall has been a very, very influential player, and both those men, Dean Ryan and Nigel Melville, they'll be quite happy. They are 130 to 52.
They've taken the theory about the 10-point wind and ripped it to pieces, Gloucester. What a second half performance. Adam Eustace is going off. Presumably Rob Fiddler is coming on. No, or is it Ed Pearce? It is Ed Pearce, big Ed Pearce.
Blue. No, the mark, on the mark, on the mark, on the mark. Là, okay. Professional, engage.
Munster in their own 22. They spent far too much time here, and maybe that's a sign of lack of confidence. Still kicking when the game is lost. Henry Paul.
No hands. No hands.
Robert Todd goes to outside half. Jim Williams makes the tackle.
Okay. No. Fine.
It's a turnover to Munster. Peter Stringer. Mick O'Driscoll. A bit scrappy to Anthony Foley. Could be a turnover. Terry Fanalua did well to go and claim the ball. Scrum down, as always in the second half. Gloucester put in.
Well, unfortunately, when Munster do get the turnovers, look at that. That against a wind, which has not really dropped, that is a tremendous difference. And that really is testimony to the amount of work that's been done by these Gloucester forwards. They really have worked hard, and Munster have just been put under the cosh.
Injury or boots? Okay. And the tackle.
The wind may have dropped slightly, but that's to take nothing away from this Gloucester performance. They have been in peak form in this second half. Very disciplined, very direct, and very smart. And here goes one of their smartest players, Marcel Garvey, one-on-one. Took a fine tackle by Mike Mullins after Garvey had beaten Jeremy Staunton, but Marcel Garvey at his best.
He's great to watch, isn't he? He didn't have any room to work in because Henry Paul pushed him towards the touchline here.
Munster try the quick throw in, doesn't come off.
There's the strength, and that's like an American football, like a running back, isn't it? Just stands his man up and dances outside him.
It is a free kick to Munster. It was all going on then. Munster tried to take a quick line out, and it nearly fell to Gloucester.
Marcel Garvey's hurt himself, or he's stretching. I don't know if he's pulled a
cramp, is it?
I don't know.
Don't worry.
They've called for the physio. One appearance, one try.
Okay.
Joël Dumais just ushers him off the field and says, let's get on with it.
Surnombre. Okay.
It's only a free kick.
Tu as raison. Aucun problème.
So Ronan O'Gara deliberately keeps it infield. Henry Paul plays football and now feeds winger Tom Bine. Tom Bine skips through a pair of tackles.
No hands.
Mercier, Forrester, Robert Todd. Infield to Terry Fanalua. More tackles broken. Jake Boer takes it on another couple of yards. Henry Paul. Big Ed Pearce. Marcel Garvey's off the field. And Ed Pearce couldn't be different. More different. Nearly a turnover. Mercier, they're playing tricks now. The trick sort of backfires a bit, because that's the turnover. Peter Stringer, he won't give up. Mercier goes back, as does Peter Buxton. And Munster are in the Gloucester half, where they have spent very little time in this second half.
And they're walking slowly to the line out, Munster. They need to step the pace up. Stringer, as you say, he's trying his best, but he's had no ball at all this half. He's lived off very few bits of ball, little scraps of turnover. The possession he's actually got has been in his own 22, if not on his own line for most of the game, for most of the second half.
Yeah. No hands.
Gloucester in possession again, or nearly. They are now. Here goes Forrester. The pace from the back row. The good offload to a fellow back row man, Jake Boer. Taken without the ball.
Got to be in the bin.
Must be a yellow card. In fact, Joël Dumais is already reaching for it. I think it's Frankie Sheehan, the hooker.
No, I thought he had the ball. I thought the ball so bad.
I said I thought he had the ball. That was a good try.
Yeah. Frankie Sheehan in the bin for 10 minutes. Tackling the player without the ball.
Well, they won't get any ball before now. They're going to have 7 forwards. They're going to get even less.
Okay.
Here we go. He's had a good game this half, hasn't he? Forrest has been everywhere. Looks inside, man's on his shoulder, and here comes a tackle there from Sheehan. Just pulls him back, knocks him over. Couldn't complain. Another catch and drive here from Gloucester, I would think. They're a forward up. Extra man advantage.
Let's watch Olivier Azam after he throws it in. He hangs off, actually. He's leaving it for the other forwards to begin with. Now he makes his way into the three-quarter line and lets the other forwards drive on. Gloucester still in possession, still driving. Here goes Gomersall. Gomersall to Bime, held up.
No hands. No.
Mercier, Robert Todd. Todd pounds on, turns to present the ball. It's still up, it's still a maul. And because it was above ground, and because Munster held him up, they get the put in.
Another thing about this Gloucester forward performance as well is they've made Munster look very simple this half and not particularly good up front. And when you look at the amount of experience and number of caps that are in there, in that Munster pack, it just shows what a tremendous effort it's been, because they've subdued, you know, players who are out the top draw. It's been a fantastic effort.
Now these two sides, because they have the Italian side in their group, they could be looking at sending a runners-up through to the quarter-finals. Or even if it comes down to who between Gloucester and Munster go through as the group winners, this result could be all important. A 21-point margin here at Kingsholm. Well, will Munster be able to beat Gloucester by 21 points down in Cork or Limerick? Free kick to Gloucester. They've got that 8-man supremacy really showing. Andy Gomersall goes on his own. Oh, penalty to Munster. Well, they haven't given up any of them.
Well, he's given it against Gomersall for not letting go of the ball.
Number 9.
But a great drive from Gloucester forwards. They know they're a man up, and they've simply gone for him. Andy Robinson, Clive Woodward. I think they'll have been pleased about Forrester. He's been off a big platform, he's been off a winning platform, but he's contributed hugely to that platform, I think.
No, stop.
Lots of exciting performances by this Gloucester side. They've come to life in the Zurich Premiership. There were just question marks about whether they could carry that form into Europe. Well, questions answered.
Yeah.
Munster, last season's finalists, are on the end of a good old hiding here. 30 points to 9. Gloucester lead. Mullins tries to cut through midfield. Stringer wants quick ball. It's slowed up. O'Gara with a little dink. Here's Garvey.
Red.
The referee doesn't want the little winger to be buried at the bottom of that ruck for too long, but Gloucester will have the put in.
Well, he fought well there, didn't he? Because he had to go laterally, went outside a couple, and when he... And there you are, man of the match, Andy Gomersall. I would like to have given it to the whole of the Gloucester pack, but you can't do that. But I think Gomersall has dictated this second half superbly. He started it off by sniping where the gaps were, keeping the game tight. When he's needed to spin the ball, he's done that as well. Good variety, good vision.
Henry Paul waits behind the scrum. Gomersall on the loop, used Paul as the dummy. Here's the man of the match. Offloads well to Terry Fanalua, who offloads in turn to Tom Bime, who saw the touchline and turned in field. Mercier, they go for the long passes now. Henry Paul. Robert Todd.
No hands!
Paul acting halfback. Here's James Forrester. Tries the basketball pass. Fanalua not held. Can play on.
No hands!
Gloucester are down to 14 because Tom Bime is out of action at the moment. Meanwhile, Jake Boer in Bime's place. Here's Gomersall. It's a Gloucester throw. Ooh. And nearly a Forrester try. I'm not sure who threw that in then, but the field is littered with players. Andy Gomersall there is a rare player on his feet.
Which number?
3 players down.
11.
There's Tom Bime. He was out of action for the whole of that last movement. Marcus Horan is down for Munster. Olivier Azam. Oh no, he's okay. There's one extra player. I think it might be Jim Williams who's down.
I think Bime is going off. Is he going off? Walking towards the tunnel anyway.
Yeah, Bime's going off. Jim Williams is heading back to this line net. There's be a full 5 minutes.
No.
Now then, James Simpson-Daniel may well come on for Tom Bime.
Play on.
And Simpson-Daniel is another player of great promise. Only 20.
It's a more. Use it. Okay.
Gloucester drive at the lineouts. No chance for a winger to get their hands on the ball because the forwards have full control. Such control that they've done it again. Superb work by the Gloucester pack. Superb second half performance by the Gloucester side. And a superb reception from the King's home crowd.
Well, Munster forwards are complaining bitterly about that, saying he didn't get it down. But this is a tremendous drive again. It's patient. You don't need to go first time. Oh no, he didn't get that down either, did he? Oh, he was short.
Is it Jake Boer who's been awarded the try?
No, he should. Oh, I don't think he's got control of that. Mind you, the touch judge is right next to it. He's closer than I am. But have a look at this. Watch his right hand here.
Merci, je vois pas là.
Is that short? Is that on there? I can't see from here.
He just drops it.
Well, he did put it down first, but I don't know whether he was short.
Well, we've had a couple of controversial tries, but really they don't matter so much because Gloucester have just...
They've blitzed them. They've absolutely
blitzed them.
this off.
Mercier misses from wide out. Referee checks his watch, and no, there is more time to come.
Now, is that on the line? Yes, it is on the line. Yeah, just an on the line counts as over. He doesn't have to get it beyond the line, he just has to touch that white line, and he has done.
Good try. Less controversy. Good for the game and all that. 35 points to 9. An all-consuming performance by Gloucester.
I'm looking at the stats here, Eddie, and it says 92 tackles had to be made by Munster and only 36 by Gloucester.
4 minutes. 4 minutes.
A full 4 minutes left to go.
It'll be a long 4 minutes for Munster, but they can't wait to get off the field.
Yeah?
I bet.
Ouais, mais bon. Yeah.
Gloucester are inside their own half, but they'll still have the put in. They still have the one-man advantage.
Caution all engage. Mind, okay.
Ludovic Mercier, little tricks of his own. Brilliant by the outside half. Support from another outstanding performer today, James Forrester. Oh, Mercier, not quite so deft. Henry Paul. Jeremy Staunton. Dummies the kick. That puts one of his colleagues into deep trouble, really. O'Gara. Eddie Halvey.
No hands.
Usher towards the touchline. Mike Mullins. Anthony Foley.
No
Gloucester's
hands.
defence solid.
No.
Alan Quinlan. Here goes Staunton. Staunton has John Kelly with him. Terry Fanalua got back there. That's gone forward.
Knock on.
The
Knock
try
on. Yeah.
won't come
Sin bin.
for Gloucester. The sin bin player, Frankie Sheehan, is back on the field. I bet Frankie Sheehan's delighted about that.
Yeah, come for 2 minutes.
Ouais, ça
But
y est,
he'll
c'est
have to be in the
annoncé.
bath.
3 minutes.
3 minutes
3
left.
minutes. Knock on Blues. Strength to rest. Don't worry.
John Kelly receives treatment, so they'll hold this scrum up.
No. Stop.
Proud finalists of last season, Munster, and they've had a hammering today at Kingsholm. It was close for 40 minutes, and then into this win, Gloucester have been awesome.
I can't remember. Is this the first time or only the second time they've been in the 22? Munster this half. It's not many, is it?
No.
And they haven't got the put in either, but
they kicked through the 22 once, and that went back for a scrummage, but they really haven't spent any time here at all.
I've just been pointed to another statistic here which says Munster have won 1 ball in the opposition 22 for the whole game. And you've got, what did you say, 27 for Gloucester.
Wow.
Up, up. No. Not engage.
The Gloucester scrummage suffered an embarrassing shove against it in the first half, nothing in the second. James Forrester has had perfect possession. Oh, they haven't got perfect possession now because they've conceded a penalty. Frankie Sheehan back on and immediately involved. At least he'll be fresh, having spent 10 minutes in the sin bin. Ronan O'Gara inside to Alan Quinlan. Case for a penalty try, not given. You can't take a second penalty quickly.
C'est pour ça que je reviens.
Jim Williams, who wants it? Nobody really wants it on the Munster side. Here goes Jim Williams, the captain.
Ready the ball. No hands.
A weary charge by the Munster forwards. Peter Stringer. Little wriggle by the scrum half. On the line, try awarded.
Well, Stringer has tried his hardest this half. He's had no ball at all. He hasn't given up. But it's scant consolation, is it not?
No. Une minute.
Ronan O'Gara adds the extra points.
C'est terminé.
Well, these points might be important sometime in the future, but not today. Referee's whistle goes. That try by Peter Stringer plus the conversion brought the curtain down on this round one match of the Heineken Cup at Kingsholm. And Gloucester, the Zurich Championship winners of last season, have beaten Munster, the Heineken Cup finalists, by an enormous margin. Gloucester 35, Munster 16.
Well, all you can say is that my prediction at half-time that Munster had an edge because of the wind proved totally wrong, proved wrong by a fantastic performance by the Gloucester forwards. They really hammered into Munster, gave them no opportunities at all. They were well orchestrated behind by the halfbacks, Andy Gummersall in particular, and a thoroughly well-deserved win. And that score at the end actually has taken a little bit of an edge off for Gloucester because they were so dominant in this game, and I think it's one of the best forward performances I've seen for quite a long time, is that.
Nigel, many congratulations. People had doubted whether you could carry on where you left off in the Zurich Premiership. Did you have any doubts yourself?
Not really, we just had to keep playing. You know, we played some positive football, and the thing at half-time we're saying just keep playing. Don't try and do something negative, just be positive about everything you do, and I think they showed that today.
What did you say to the players at half-time? Because it was still quite tight at that stage.
It was. There were a few things we weren't happy about, that we were going a bit too wide too soon, and we weren't attracting the defence, and then we were attacking channels that probably weren't on, so we just worked on that, and simple things, but basically everyone knew, you know, we could do it if we just kept working.
And you seemed to wear them down in the second half. They hardly got out of their own half, Munster.
I think so. You know, we got some good breaks early on, a few good kicks here and there, and a bit of pressure. And then the try came. Once the try came, it just gave the confidence the boost, and everyone was up for it, and everyone was trying to get on the score sheet.
People have put you in as one of the favourites for this tournament. Do you feel today you justified that status?
I don't know why anyone's put us in as favourites for the tournament. These are the guys that have been in the final. These are the guys that have been there all the way before. It's all new territory for us, so we're some way off being any favourite with anybody.
Nigel, well done. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Serious about sport? We are. Only on Sky Sports, England v Australia. And South Africa. Live.
Dad, you all right?
We're in Reading this afternoon, as usual, a colourful, noisy occasion. It always is, isn't it, when the Exiles play down here in Reading? And plenty of Gloucester fans have made their way up the M4 today, because we're in Reading for coverage of today's Zurich Premiership match between London Irish and the leaders Gloucester. Well, the two sides have met on 16 occasions in the top flight, and overall the statistics point to Gloucester's supremacy. Of those 16, the Exiles have won 5 to the West Countrymen's 11. At home, though, London Irish have been a different proposition. Of the 8 encounters, there's a straight split in terms of games won and lost. It's 4 apiece as it stands, but a draw aside, the equilibrium will be disturbed this afternoon. So time to put aside yesterday's memories for the next 80 minutes and concentrate on what we hope will be a competitive game of rugby as we join our commentators. Hello to Stuart Barnes and Miles Harrison.
Hello, Simon. Hello, everybody at home. Well, we're still trying to digest 24 hours ago the events at Twickenham, Lansdowne Road and Marseille, of course, as well. But the club game is taking great strides too, and we've got a cracker in store in the Zurich Premiership. Gloucester, the league leaders, will have to play well, Stuart, against a recovering London Irish.
Yeah, the cherry and whites are flying high, but Reading has not been a happy hunting ground in recent years for Gloucester. They'll be hoping for a big controlling performance from Andy Gummersall at 9, while London Irish will look to the inspiration of Brendan Fenter